William clutched his side as crimson blood seeped through his fingers, staining his torn uniform. The escape pod had crashed 3 kilometers from here, and every step since had been agony. Rain hammered down on the alien world of Thessia 7, turning the purple soil into slick mud beneath his boots. The settlement ahead looked abandoned, its bioluminescent structures flickering weakly in the storm. Most of the Thessian population had evacuated when the Krill Armada arrived. William had been part of the human relief force until his ship took a direct hit. He staggered toward the nearest dwelling, a organic-looking dome that pulsed with faint blue light. His vision blurred. He needed shelter, medical attention, anything. His fist pounded against the membrane-like door. Nothing. He pounded again, harder, leaving a bloody smear. His legs buckled and he collapsed against the entrance just as it dilated open. William tumbled inside, landing hard on the soft moss-like floor. A Thessian woman stood over him, her forearms crossed, her iridescent skin shifting from violet to concerned amber. She was small, barely reaching 5 feet, with the characteristic graceful build of her species. Her large opalescent eyes widened as she took in his size. "By the mother stars," she whispered in accented standard. "You're enormous." William tried to speak but only managed a wheeze. Blood pooled beneath him. "The bulky human needs help," she muttered, already moving with purpose. Her home was designed for someone half his size. The ceiling barely cleared 6 feet and he'd have to duck through every doorway. "It'll be a tight squeeze, but come in properly. Off the floor." She was surprisingly strong for her size, hooking 2 arms under his shoulders. William helped as much as he could, his 220 pounds of muscle and combat gear making him feel like a giant in a dollhouse. She guided him to a resting pad that sagged alarmingly under his weight. "I'm Melissa," she said, already pulling medical supplies from wall compartments. "Try not to die in my home. The cleaning would be terrible." Despite everything, William almost smiled. "William, Human Defense Force. I know what humans are." Her fingers worked quickly, cutting away his uniform to expose the plasma burn across his ribs. She hissed. "Krill weapon?" He nodded. "Then you fought for my world." Something shifted in her expression. Determination hardened her delicate features. "Stay conscious. Talk to me." William watched as she worked, her forearms moving in coordinated efficiency that would make any human surgeon jealous. She applied a gel that made his wound burn like fire before going blissfully numb. "Why? Didn't you evacuate?" He managed. Melissa's skin flickered with embarrassed pink. "My research. 12 years studying the adaptive moss colonies in the northern valleys. I thought I had more time to pack the samples." She applied a regenerative membrane over the wound. "Stubborn, my family says." "Foolish, more likely." "Dedicated," William corrected. He'd seen enough war to recognize courage in unlikely forms. The house shuddered as something thundered overhead. Krill patrol craft. Melissa's skin flashed fear white before settling into resolved gray. She moved to a wall panel, and the dwelling's exterior shifted to match the surrounding terrain. Camouflage. "They've been searching the settlements," she explained, returning to his side. "Looking for survivors to interrogate. About human defense positions, mostly." William's jaw clenched. The Krill were methodical, brutal. "If they found Melissa, you should have left," he said, "and you should have stayed in orbit." She tilted her head, a Thessian gesture of irony. "Yet here we both are, too stubborn to run." 3 days passed. William's human physiology, enhanced by Melissa's treatment and his own robust healing, improved rapidly. The Thessians had always marveled at human resilience, their capacity to survive injuries that would kill most species, their ability to adapt to hostile environments, their stubborn refusal to quit. The dwelling proved cramped indeed. William had to fold himself into corners, duck constantly, and sleep curled up on a pad meant for someone much smaller. Melissa found it endlessly amusing, her skin flickering with entertained yellow-green whenever he bumped his head. "Your species builds everything so large," she observed, preparing a meal of synthesized proteins. "Ships, stations, expectations." "We come from a heavy-gravity world," William explained, accepting the portion that looked comically small in his hands. "Makes us dense, durable. Bulky," Melissa teased. "Efficient," he countered, and she laughed, a sound like chimes. On the 4th day, Krill soldiers came. William was on his feet instantly, still sore but functional. Through the translucent walls, They could see 3 Krill warriors scanning the settlement with detection equipment. Melissa's camouflage was good, but not perfect. "Stay hidden," William whispered. "I'll lead them away." Melissa's 4 arms grabbed him, 2 on his arms, 2 on his chest. For someone so small, her grip was iron. "No. Your species has a saying, don't fight gravity. We're in this together." Her skin had gone battle red, a color he'd only read about in xenobiology reports. Thessians were pacifists by nature, but they could fight when cornered. She moved to a panel and suddenly the moss floor rippled. Her research samples, engineered moss colonies with defensive properties. The Krill forced entry. They were massive creatures, 8 feet of chitinous armor and weapons. They saw William immediately. What they didn't see was Melissa, small and fast, releasing spores that turned the very air into a sedative cloud. The moss beneath the Krill's feet became adhesive, trapping them. William, already holding his breath as Melissa had frantically signaled, launched forward. The fight was brief and brutal. Human strength and combat training versus Krill armor and claws. But the spores weakened them, the moss held them, and William's fists found their weak points. When it ended, all 3 Krill lay unconscious. Melissa stood trembling, her skin cycling through a dozen colors. "I've never—" "I study moss. E-catalog. I don't—" William placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, mindful of his size. "You saved us both." She looked up at him, this bulky human who'd crashed into her life and her skin settled into warm gold. "We saved each other." They heard the hum of engines, human engines. The relief force had broken through. William and Melissa emerged into the rain to see dropships landing across the settlement. As medics rushed forward, William looked down at the small Thessian scientist who'd given a wounded soldier shelter in her cramped home. "It was a tight squeeze," he said. Melissa's skin sparkled with amused silver. "But you fit perfectly."